Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our third regular council meeting of April 17, 2023. I'm Cassandra Gandara, Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll be presiding over this meeting. Mayor is in a meeting at New Mexico State University, and hopefully we'll be back in time. But until then, you got me. And so if you would just please draw your attention to the ground rules, I would very much appreciate it. And I'd like us to stand and just give a moment of silence for the mass shootings that have occurred over the weekend in Alabama and Chicago, and also to send my deep gratitude to our fire and PD for the service. Councilor Bencomo with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I said, I don't know the whole thing.
Thank you. Next up, we will have Amy DeFelix, Pets of the Week. Amy, how are you? You've been doing such an excellent job, and so appreciate all the education that you've been sharing with us.
Sorry, DLC is muted. Is it okay if I share?
Amy, is that you?
Okay. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen.
I'm Cassandra Gandara, Mayor Pro Tem, Amy. And we can't hear you very well, so can someone work on the
Awesome.
sound?
We'll start off with a cat of the week. His name is Crash. His number is 60672. And he says, I'm a sweet talking boy who just loves asking for pets and attention. I have a couple of injuries still healing, which makes me look a little gruff, but I'm truly the biggest baby you would ever meet. I have the sweetest meow that used to convince you to spend all your time with me. Looking for a cat to spoil and treat like a king? Look no further. I'm the one for you. And then we also have our dog of the week. Her name is Rapunzel. Her number is 52972. And she says, I'm a lively and energetic girl who loves being active. I'm someone that needs consistent physical and mental exercise to keep me from being restless and bored. I can also be a little bit picky about my dog friends, but I'm always up for a meet and greet with other dogs to see how I may feel. My ideal family gives me healthy outlets for my energy and all of the belly rubs I could want. And we do have an adoption event. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear. I have puppies. They'll be crying periodically. But we do have an adoption event at PetSmart this Saturday, the 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have definitely some dogs, maybe some cats, but guaranteed some dogs. So we encourage people to stop by and say hi and maybe find their next forever family member. And now to keep up with the theme of this month for TNR, I'd like to offer some suggestions for deterrence, because I know that is one thing that a lot of people in the community would like. They don't want the cats kind of in their property, getting in their garden, using it as a litter box, but there are some deterrents that a lot of TNR organizations and animal shelters have already started suggesting. And part of that would be scent-based deterrents. So a lot of people like to suggest using citrus peels like orange peels, lemon peels, lime peels, or zest around the area you don't want cats to be, because cats don't like kind of the citrus scent or the citrus oils. Cayenne pepper and coffee grounds do the same thing, put them in the soil, and it deters the cats from wanting to dig around and just kind of exist in that space. And same with just essential oils like citronella, lavender, lemongrass, peppermint, eucalyptus, and mustard oils have also been suggested from TNR advocates as a useful deterrence, useful natural deterrence. There are also physical deterrents. People suggest using like a lattice, like a fence lattice, but instead horizontal on the ground, covered in soil, so it prevents the cats from digging everything up and kind of ruining the roots of plants. Plastic carpet runners, the ones that you use that have the spiky bits that stick to the carpet, instead turning it upside down so the spikes are up and lightly covering that in soil makes it uncomfortable for the cats to walk around and kind of exist in that space. There are specially catered items called cat scat mats, which are effectively the same thing as carpet runners, but invented for the sole purpose of keeping feral cats and other wildlife out, and that's, if I can get a little laser pointer here, that's what this is. It looks effectively the same as like maybe a carpet runner. The spikes are a little bit longer because it's made to make it uncomfortable for an animal to walk on. There are also light and sound deterrents, like motion censored strobing lights that also emit an ultrasonic sound that we can't hear, but cats and other animals can hear, that makes them feel uncomfortable and makes them want to leave, essentially. And that would be kind of what this is. And the ASCMV, we do, as part of our community cat program, have people in the community come to us and tell us that they will keep calling to have cats trapped and be brought in because they don't want them on their property. And because of that, we do have some mats and some motion sensor deterrents that are available to dispense for these types of cases. So we do, perhaps other local TNR organizations will also have kind of assistance in administering these deterrents, but you can also find them online for pretty cheap as well. You can also Google just kind of community cat, feral cat deterrents to see the other suggestions that other people do, because there's a whole lot of lists that, like Alley Cat Allies is a national TNR association. They have a large list that could not fit in this little presentation for kind of an overall more comprehensive TNR deterrents, but this is definitely a start and something that basically anyone would be able to do and kind of get their hands on. So let's end this, and thank you.
Amy, thank you so much. Very helpful. I'm going to use some of those deterrents. Next up is we have Irene Barra. For Jobs of the Week, Irene, I see you got the memo. I'm wearing orange. You're wearing orange. Very good.
I sure did. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem Gunn on the City Council, Irene Bond with Economic Development. We begin with the City of Las Cruces, who is hiring for a 911 call taker. This position pays $18 an hour and closes on April 21st. White Sands Missile Range is hiring a supervisory helicopter pilot. This position pays $82,000 a year and closes on April 28th. Advanced Air is hiring a part-time customer service agent. This position pays $15 an hour and is open until filled. South Central Solid Waste Authority is hiring a scale house attendant and cashier. This position pays $13.23 an hour and closes on May 4th. Casa de Peregrinos is hiring a development associate. This position pays between $34,000 and $37,000 a year, depending on experience, and is open until filled. And finally, Oxygen Therapy Associates is hiring a respiratory therapist and nurse. This position pays between $43,000 and $57,000 a year, depending on experience, and closes on July 4th. And as always, for additional information, you can contact our local Workforce Connection office at 575-524-6250, or visit them at their location at 226 South Alameda, or online at employnm.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irene. I appreciate that. Next up is our presentations of certificates and proclamations, and Councilor Bencomo will be reading, it looks like 4. You're busy, Councilor Bencomo.
I know, it's like I haven't done this in months, I feel like, and they're like 4. Okay, the first one up is for our libraries. I think we have for National Library Week, presented by Erin Wall and the Brannigan Friends of the Library. Yay, hi everyone. Yes, clap for them. Come on up, come on up. Wonderful. Also, while I have the microphone, I would just like to tell staff that it is freezing in here. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Whereas today's libraries and their service extend far beyond the 4 walls of a building, and where everyone is welcome to use their resources, and whereas today's libraries are more about what they can do with and for their communities and not just about what they can have on the shelves. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions, often the heart of their cities, towns, schools, and academic campuses. And whereas libraries offer opportunities for everyone to connect with new ideas and become their best selves through access to content, programs, and classes, including but not limited to books and the cornerstone of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Whereas libraries serve for people of all ages, interests, and backgrounds, providing the resources and space to engage in lifelong learning, and libraries are expanding their resources to adapt to our changing world and continue to meet the needs of their patrons. And whereas libraries offer equipment and professional staff support to utilize technology, programs, and services, often free or with a nominal charge to users. And whereas libraries and staff encourage literacy in basic information, civic and social health, and financial competencies, which contribute to greater personal and community success. And whereas we recognize libraries as information professionals who provide expertise, services, and guidance for patrons to access credible sources and materials, assisting patrons making their own informed decisions about the world today. And whereas libraries thoughtfully develop collections and programs that are wide-ranging and explore the diversity of our changing society. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. And whereas America is celebrating National Library Week April 23rd through April 29th, including April 25th as National Library Workers' Day, and the immeasurable contributions made by library workers. April 26th as National Library Outreach Day, showing library services not limited to their physical location, and April 27th as Task Action for Libraries Day, encouraging advocates and community to rally support for libraries. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the week of April 23rd through the 29th, 2023 as National Library Week, and encourage all residents to visit our libraries and explore all that they have to offer to help move New Mexico forward. Thank you. Anybody? Yes, please. No? Okay.
I suppose I should say something. My name is Marianne Hendrickson. I'm the president of the Library Advisory Board. And I am very, very proud of our library and our community. And all of y'all understand how important the library is to us and to everyone here. And so I thank all of you for being here today to acknowledge and appreciate our own public library. Thank you all very much.
There we go. Scooch in. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Child Abuse Awareness Month, presented to Alana Bradley. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, my apologies. Is it something else? Okay, good. Okay. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions require input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Las Cruces, and whereas child abuse can have a long-term physiological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse, and whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnership created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Awareness Month in our community, and encourage all residents to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for children and families.
I just wanted to invite you all to go see our pinwheel awareness campaign that we have going right outside of Brannigan Library at Johnson Park. We have over 600 pinwheels up for Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month there, so go check them out before we take them down at the end of April.
That wasn't so bad. Thank you. Next up, we have Parkinson's Awareness Month, presented Diana Guyver. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Okay. Did I say that right? Diane, my apologies, Diane. Come on over here, of course. In solidarity with people who get our names wrong, so, okay. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurological disease and is the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States. There's inadequate data on the incidence and prevalence of Parkinson's disease, but it is estimated that as many as 1 million Americans live with Parkinson's disease, with approximately 60,000 Americans diagnosed every day. And whereas it is estimated that the economic burden of Parkinson's disease to be nearly $25 billion per year in the United States. Medication alone costs an average of $2,500 a year, and therapeutic surgery can cost up to $100,000 per person. And whereas research suggests that the causes of Parkinson's disease is a combination of genetic and environmental factors, but the exact cause and progression of the disease is still unknown. There is no objective test or biomarker for Parkinson's disease, and the rate of misdiagnosis can be high. And whereas the symptoms of Parkinson's disease vary from person to person and can include tremors, slowness of movement and rigidity, difficult with balance, swallowing, chewing, and speaking, cognitive impairment and dementia, mood disorders such as depression and anxiety, constipation, skin problems, and sleep difficulties. There is no cure, therapy, or drug to halt the progression of Parkinson's disease. However, daily exercise has proven to slow the progression. And whereas local, regional, and state volunteers, researchers, and medical professionals are working to improve the quality of life of persons living with Parkinson's disease and their families. And whereas increased education and research is needed to find more effective treatments with fewer side effects and ultimately a cure for Parkinson's disease. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Parkinson's Awareness Month.
I have my notes on my phone. I am joined today by Sarah Stiegel, who is the leader of our local support group for Parkinson's, and Donnelly and Mike Bartholomew, right? They are also members of the group, and I'm the treasurer. I moved here in 2017, and I'm from Pennsylvania, so I started a support group there, and I was thrilled to know that they had one here. So I called Sarah, and what do you know? She put me to work, and we became best friends. And so every day, I don't think we go a day without checking in with each other. So the greatest thing about
what we have to offer here in our small community is, and this is just amazing, and kudos to Sarah, who single-handedly does most of the work. We have regular support group meetings every third Tuesday of the month. We started a newly diagnosed support group every fourth Tuesday. We started pickleball for Parkinson's. I've been playing pickleball since about 2019, and I started it with the Parkinson's members, and they love it. So it's great exercise for us. We always have a fall symposium. This year we'll have one. It's called Renew Retreat. It's for people with Parkinson's and their caregivers. We have a exercise program every Monday and Wednesday at 10 o'clock. It's called New Pathways for Parkinson's, and it's designed by Carol Witham, who has 20-plus years of experience exercising with Parkinson's people. We also have Rocksteady Boxing at the Donna Anna Boxing Club, and that's gone on for several years now. So we have a newly updated website and has a calendar of events. And this is a lot for a little town, and I'm very fortunate to be a part of the group. And if you know of anyone that can use our services, please look on the website, and we will be able to help them in many ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I just wanted to acknowledge Sarah, Mike, and Donna. I'm really missing Mr. Hamilton. He usually is really active in his advocacy around Parkinson's, and he died last year. And I just wanted to give him a shout out for all the work that he did also to bring to light your group and everything that you do. So thank you so much.
Okay, last one. For Water Awareness Month, please come up Debbie McAllen and yeah, your whole crew. And Debbie, I believe that right after you'll be giving a presentation on the conservation poster winner. Is that correct? Yes. Oh, cool. Hello. How are you? Good? Yes, come on up, everyone. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Whereas water is one of New Mexico's most vital and precious resources, and whereas New Mexico is an arid state where water is scarce and population continues to increase our demand for water, and whereas all citizens of New Mexico and visitors should use water more efficiently, as practicing a lower water use lifestyle is a way that each individual and business can help ensure a long-term sufficient water supply, and whereas creating a culture of conservation will greatly reduce the impact of drought on our natural resources, economy, and quality of life. And whereas water education is a cornerstone to any comprehensive water conservation program, and great awareness of water issues can be gained through community education, action, and celebration. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Water Awareness Month in all our community, and encourage all residents to pledge to continue to use water wisely this month and every month of the year. Thank you. Maybe, is Adrienne Whitmer here? Maybe she should come down too, our utilities director, and take a picture with you. Oh man. There you go. And please, yes.
As everyone knows, here in Las Cruces, water is one of the New Mexico's most vital and precious resource. So to bring awareness to the young children in the community, we asked 4 elementary third graders classrooms from Highland, Fair Acres, Hermosa, and Columbia Elementary schools to draw posters symbolizing water awareness and the importance of conserving water in the community. So before me, we don't have, I don't believe, our third place winner, but I would like to announce and give a certificate of appreciation and a monetary gift to Mia Clark, who came in first place. So Mia. Make sure I got people to you, right? Our second place winner is Alexander Cordero. And our third place winner was Sunny Maciel. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but she's not here, but we would like to congratulate her as well. So thank you.
Councilor Bencomo, can I have the winners come up this way? We didn't get a chance to see the beautiful artwork. So if they would come up this way and just sort of showcase their art, we'd love to see it up close and personal. Thank you. Goodness, we already have artists. Yes. You guys did phenomenal. And there will be a presentation, yes? Oh, I think that was the presentation. Oh, okay. All right. Very good. On to our conflict of interest. Is there any conflict with any member of City Council, City Manager, or member of City staff? Any
None.
conflict of interest?
None, Aveda. None, Graham.
None, Gandara. Thank you. Next up, public.
None.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Next up, public participation. I will start on my left, and I'll give you 3 minutes, and we'll start on our first row. And Ifo, will you please take the time? Thank you. Hello, Mr. Neeson, Dr. Neeson.
Mayor Pro Tem and councilors. I am Earl Nissen, and I live in Las Cruces. I am today representing the Citizens Police Oversight Committee. It's been some time since we mentioned that we had put together a proposed ordinance for the formation of a Citizens Police Oversight Board. Today I have distributed to you a copy of our proposal, which certainly would be subject to change after discussing it with you. This draft is a result of reviewing many of the ordinances of oversight boards on the Nicole listing. There is no standard format, and each ordinance has been designed to fit that particular city. As I've been researching oversight boards that are affiliated with OIR, I find there are no two boards organized in the same way. For example, the other day I virtually attended the 2.5-hour meeting of the Boulder, Colorado Police Oversight Panel. They actually get the complaints about the police, and each member of the panel is assigned complaints for them to investigate and report back and work with police on recommendations in regards to the complaint. Many of the boards have subcommittees, such as one on excessive force and another one on policing, policies on traffic stops. So again, there is no standard form of oversight committees. Our request for a work session still remains. If granted, we would appreciate at least a 3-week heads up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neeson. Next up, please come to the podium and state your name.
Hello, council members. I'm Brooke Milligan, and later on the agenda today, you have an item, Council Bill 23024, to bring forward a...
Sir, may I ask, I'm going to interrupt you, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but can you wait till that agenda item to be able to... Oh, it's not. It's on the bottom. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry. So sorry.
Yeah,
So sorry.
I was about to say to
Wait a minute.
bring forwards for first read. I would like to reflect that the current public record on that item is incomplete, and one of the purposes of this period of time between the first read and the final action is to make sure the public is actually aware of all of the information that is being considered by the council. That is currently not the case because the staff was unable to include all of the information prior to now. And so I would like to request that this action be tabled until the future when you have the public record fully corrected and complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Hi, my name is Barbara McGuffey, and council members, I really hadn't planned on speaking today. We came to hear the first reading of the ordinance 3030, I believe it is, and realized that all of our community input had not been put in, including a petition that was circulated to all of our neighbors in objection to this. And the city clerk explained to us that it had been distributed to all of the council members, but it's referenced in the agenda item by staff that it is included, that while we did not appeal, this packet is to be included, and it wasn't included. And, you know, the solution was the city clerk said that it could be put in in 2 weeks. But that allows for you all to perhaps see it, but you might be overlooking it as a separate email. And we would like to request that it be tabled so that the public has ample time to review that and for the public participation in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Please make your way. Yes,
Pardon me,
Councillor Abeda.
Pardon me, Mayor Pro Tem. I believe Christine had a comment in reference.
Yes, Ms. Christine.
Mayor Pro Tem, the document that they were referencing was an attachment, which I distributed to all of you, and it can be attached at the adoption of the ordinance itself in 2 weeks. So it wasn't an exhibit or anything that you would be approving. It was just an attachment as reference.
So it's not a required document.
Separate, I'm sorry, Councillor Bingle. Councillor.
Pardon me, it was not a required documentation.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council.
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hold on. Yes, Councillor Flores.
Thank you. Excuse me. Ms. Rivera, does that mean that
It's not, is it incorporated by reference, or is it just there for our edification?
Correct. Counselor Flores, it would just be a reference document because it was an attachment and not an exhibit.
And not part of it? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Flores. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My name is Marcy McGuinn. I live in Las Cruces, and I'm also here to talk about ordinance item 3030. Ordinance item number 3030, the PDF document that is currently posted on the City of Las Cruces website, does make reference to the 12-page document that my neighbor Brooke Milligan submitted directly to Vincent Benegas. Its absence in that PDF document, it does make that document incomplete for this meeting, for the public, and for public record for the City of Las Cruces. I would like to respectfully ask that this matter be tabled until further point where that record could be added sufficiently, and that will allow all of the council to review that record along with all of the other record that has been submitted for consideration. It will also allow the public to view everything appropriately. We do understand that the additional attachment has been sent out to all council members, but it is not accurately represented as part of the ordinance number 3030 as referenced in this agenda and is referenced online. Again, so we consider that to be an incomplete package, and we would like to respectfully ask for this to be tabled at this time.
Thank you, Ms. McGuinn. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, that's our second row. What about anybody else? Third, second row? Yes, please make your way down.
Good afternoon, councilors. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for what you do for our community, but there are still some problems.
Can you state your name, please,
My
for
name
the
is
record?
Lori English. I live up on the East Mesa, so I'm Councilor Karan's problem, so to speak. We have a definite problem out on the East Mesa that may involve city, county, and state. It is a major traffic hazard. At 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, almost every weekday afternoon, the traffic exiting Highway 70 eastbound at Mesa Grande is often, and I'm talking like 25 times during those hours, stopped on the highway. It's literally backed up, stopped parking lot on the highway. People cannot get exited on that ramp because it's a single lane exit that widens out to 4 lanes. 1 lane going to the school, 1 lane going straight through, 1 lane turning left only under the freeway, and 1 lane making a U-turn. So consequently, traffic is stopped on a state highway, and the cross traffic for Mesa Grande from the school, so these kids can get out of school, and we've already had 1 fatality at that intersection because of this problem. That traffic's, just continually going on. These kids are just driving through. They're not paying attention to blocking the intersection. They're not paying attention to anything that involves highway safety and driver safety. So maybe this is something that the city council might make a step forward. You guys may be the ones to save a life by saying, you know what, this isn't working. We need to reset, simple reset. Reset the timing on those stoplights so that stoplight isn't allowing 2 to 3 minutes of cross traffic from the school down to Mesa Grande, to McDonald's or wherever they're going, or to the highway. Shorten that time and lengthen the highway time and the turn straight through or going to the school time. Because I sat there the other day and I was literally with my back pressed up against my headrest, hoping that the people behind me knew that there was traffic stopped, and it was literally stopped 6 cars deep onto Highway 70. It wasn't just a minor stop and go, it was a parking lot dead stop. Somebody has to take the initiative. The city might be the ones to do it and say, hey, wait a minute.
Thank you, Ms. English.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
that.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else in the third row? Fourth row? Yes, please make your way down.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Huff. On April 3rd, 2 weeks ago, my husband and I stood before the council discussing the nightmare we were living since Byrne Lake City Park had been invaded by illegal encampments. I would really like to express a big thank you to the mayor for his attention and responses, the Las Cruces police officers that removed the illegal encampments and were out at the Byrne Lake area, and also the Parks and Recreation personnel that authorized and removed the unsightly abandoned shelters. I would like to remind everyone that Las Cruces Municipal Code, Chapter 20, Sections 20 through 28, clearly states city parks shall be open from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m., except for emergencies, permitted special events, and parks where hours are posted differently from those operating under normal operating time. Individuals shall not be allowed in the park in the city park during closed times unless authorized by permit. This clearly indicates that camping is prohibited in the city parks. Within hours of the homeless moving to the Byrne Lake area and setting up their illegal encampments, the small cinder block building nearby was graffitied. Trash started blowing into our and our neighbors' yards, and we had to endure the constant smell of campfire smoke. On April 4th, the next day after we spoke before this council, the Las Cruces PD officers started showing up and informing the people that they were trespassing and needed to relocate. We came on Saturday, April 8th, we both went to El Paso for a previous commitment. We came straight back from our meeting because we were fearful of our house might have been broken into or burned while we were away. That very night, the illegal encampment's trash pile caught fire and almost set several tents on fire. If the wind would have been blowing toward our house, it could have threatened us. On April 10th, 7 days after we spoke before this council, there were only 4 illegal encampments left. On April 12th, 9 days after we spoke, the Las Cruces PD officers cleared the last 4 illegal encampments out. That same day, Parks and Rec personnel removed the abandoned shelters and had been a magnet that drew the people to the area. Now we are able to breathe smoke-free air and feel comfortable leaving our home when we need to. Again, we would like to thank the mayor, the Las Cruces PD, Parks and Recs for your prompt attention to enforcing city ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Huff.
My name is Fred Huff. I would also like to express my deepest gratitude to the mayor, Las Cruces police officers, and Parks and Recreation personnel for enforcing city ordinances and ending the illegal encampment nightmare outside our bedroom window. What I would like to now discuss is why this invasion of illegal encampments occurred at Byrne Lake in the first place. Yes, the abandoned shelters were the magnet that attracted these people, but they also needed easy access. That access was provided by the unmaintained and open fences that had been put in place to control access to the park. The cable fence at the west end of Brown Road was cut last November and could have been repaired in less than an hour any time since then. The posts of the chain link fence at the end of Hickory Loop have actually eroded clear out of the ground. And in some places, the fence has fallen over and is currently laying on the guy wire holding up the electric pole at the edge of Golden Corral parking lot. Several holes have been cut in the chain link fence where it is still standing, and one hole is big enough for vehicles to drive through, and this is where the guy in the Chevy Trailblazer that I talked about 2 weeks ago was coming in until he discovered the opening at the west end of Brown Road. I called him the Chevy guy. On the day that the Parks and Recreation crew were removing the abandoned shelters, the Chevy guy came in and terrorized this crew for about an hour. He entered their work area and poured something on the ground and lit it on fire. He drove within a few feet of the crew as they sought shelter near their vehicles, and then he spun out, creating a massive dust cloud, and then exited between two city vehicles. On his last pass by the work crew, he aimed his vehicle directly at one of the workers as the worker scrambled to get out of the way. I have video and photo of all of this, and they are posted on the internet. And the link has been sent to the mayor, city manager, LCPD officers, and park and recreation staff. If the fences had been maintained, this would have never happened. There are also easy and temporary solutions to the destroyed fences, while better fences are designed and built. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Anybody else on the fourth row? Fifth row? Fifth row? Sixth row? Well, come on down, sir.
My name is Rod Gajewski. I'm the adjutant for Purple Heart Las Cruces. And what I have here, I've discussed it with the chief already, and I'd like to give to the city manager for dissemination.
Please, to our clerk there, sir. Christine, raise your hand, Christine. Thank you.
I didn't give enough copies for all of the counselors because if you all were to come to this event, which is the candlelight ceremony on May 29th, Memorial Day at Veterans Memorial Park, it would be classified as an illegal meeting because you'd all be together. So those of you that would be interested, my phone number is on the bottom. And the mayor has already consented, as he always has. The mayor sponsors this part of his budget is to sponsor the event, which is the candlelighting ceremony, which honors the 204 New Mexicans who have fallen in combat during from the World War I until the current conflicts that have existed. I would invite any of you that would be interested in coming. I've asked the chief. The chief, I've already discussed it with him because, as you know, until we receive the parking lot extension, Roadrunner becomes during those large events, becomes a very dangerous street because it's like a freeway. But hopefully next year we'll have a real parking lot where we can put the cars off the street. But I would invite you all to, any of you that would like to attend, and if you would not only attend, but I have 20 spots remaining for candlelight sponsors. And the candlelight sponsor doesn't cost anything. It's simply you're placing a candle on the wall when the name is read. We don't read dignitaries' names. We have dignitaries come from White Sands and all over the state, but this is to honor the 204 fallen. Any questions?
It doesn't look like. Thank you so much for doing this. I very much appreciate it, and I hope many of us will be in contact with you to be a candle sponsor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rod.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, anybody else on the fifth row? Fifth row, sixth row, Mr. Garcia.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, name is Juan Garcia. I was not planning to speak today until I went for coffee this morning with Rob to the Spirit Winds Coffee Shop on Locust. I noticed a completely boarded up front door and 2 bullet-riddled windows. I spoke to the manager and she indicated that this is the third hit in about 6 months. The last happened this weekend, about $6,000 to $10,000 worth of damage. Maybe the criminal act was due to systemic racism, or maybe the criminal's family was a victim of some social injustice that happened 200 years ago. I'm joking when I say that, because maybe this is more likely because they can get away with it. It's the same old story, just a different day, a different victim, same thing, nothing changes. Another report, and they too become a member of the forgotten victims. The glass replacement business must be booming in Las Cruces due to the number of windows and doors being replaced in small businesses victims of attacks. The council blames the courts, and the courts blame the legislature. The legislature could have acted this last session, but instead, and the blame starts all over again. And in the meantime, the victims pile up. I'd like to thank Councilor Bencomo, Graham, Flores, and Gandara for always engaging on issues. I appreciate that. And a special thanks to Councilor Bencomo for assisting in the eradication of the crime element on Burn Lake. I would also like to clarify the allegation that we, as an organization, demanded the council's resignation. That's not true. It is up to the voters to determine if they're happy with those running for election or re-election. If the citizens are happy, not knowing if their businesses will survive from one terror attack to the other, their vehicles disappearing, they can vote accordingly. If it is evident based on this year's legislative session, toughening laws to deter crime and holding criminals accountable is not a priority. The street name change was not the primary cause of anger by citizens, in my opinion. It is comments like those by one of our councilors where she indicated that the idea of inconveniences is pretty appalling. What we are hearing is, quote, the past will be cleansed and history rewritten. We have a monolithic progressive council with a tremendous amount of power that is going to act in order to force social justice. In January, I was a victim of a hit and run, vehicle totaled, and myself, my lower back was injured. I did some public information requests, and there was an indication that there had been 936 hit and runs leaving the scene from June 1st, 2022 to 1st of April, 2023. That's 10 months, 93 per month, or 3 a day. 3 hit and runs daily in Las Cruces.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the 6th row? 7th row? 7th row? 8th row?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is James Urias, and it's my first time coming and speaking in front of a council.
Can you please move the mic closer
Yes,
to you? Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, no problem. What I came up here to talk about today is what a lot of people are not talking about, and that is orthopography, and that is a higher advanced way of seeing education. The education system that we have being the lowest educated state in the United States proves that we as a nation are not united. There should not be different levels of education in a united nation. When I look at the debt clock for the United States, and I see what a lot of people are not seeing or even addressing, and that is that the dollar has taken a complete dive. U.S. oil, a barrel, is $0 per barrel. Gold is at $0 per ounce. Silver, the same. If we are going to rely on a currency, we need to know what currency to rely on, and we are given no information. There are a lot of things going on in the world today that people are only getting partial truths of because of opinions and not actual laws. If you open the Black's Law Dictionary, it states the supreme law of the land is God's law, and the Constitution for we the people. And we the people need more guidance than what we are being given. Because if everybody is busy fighting amongst themselves over what they think is right, then everybody is going to lose. And it is not just me, it is our nation, my kids, y'all's kids. Because nobody can come together and focus on the correct things. Feelings are going to get hurt, but the truth will always prevail, and it will always come through in black and white on a screen. Because I see PC, I see the power of letters and numbers and sequences and patterns. I've been shown things that I still question to this day because I never trust anything until I see it for myself. 9 seconds left. Thank y'all so much for getting us here, but where are we going to go to the future? Good day.
Thank you. Anybody else on the 7th row, my love? Please make your way down if you're going to speak. Will you also be speaking? If you are, make your way down here, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to...
Please state your name for the record.
Of course. My name is Nelly Soriano, and I'm standing here just before you today to acknowledge the incredible work that the women on this council are doing for the city of Las Cruces. As for a former woman in office myself for my city of Anthony, New Mexico, I felt your pain. I have seen it happen, unfortunately, way too many times. Your dedication, hard work, and commitment to this community have not gone unnoticed. I'm sorry, I'm just a little nervous. You have brought in unique perspective and valuable experience to the table, and your contribution have helped make this city a better place for all of us. I have heard nothing but wonders from my neighbor, and now a good friend of mine, which is Giselle, about you ladies, and I have nothing but respect and appreciation for your service. Thank you, ladies. However, it is disheartening to see how even in this century, men are still allowing disrespect and division to proceed while freedom of speech is important. We must remember that we are adults and must use better language and higher level of respect. It is time to stop using phrases like, we the people, we are bosses, and we own you. Instead, let's all get together and find solution to the real issues that our community faces. Complaining without taking action is pathetic. We must respect each other and work together to create a better community for ourselves. We need to put an end to this behavior of division and come together to volunteer and make differences in our community. There are many organizations and groups that need our help, and we should take advantage of these opportunities to create a better New Mexico in general. In closing, I want to reiterate my gratitude to the women on this council for the great job you are all doing for the city of Las Cruces and our neighbor city of Anthony. And let us all work together to make Las Cruces and our surrounding areas better place to live, work, and raise our families. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Good job.
Appreciate that.
Hello, good
Hello.
afternoon.
Hi.
I'm back. Good afternoon, members of City Council. My name is Giselle Nance, and I'm back. Last time I kind of wasn't unprepared to speak, but this time I am, because I got a little bit of a mouthful from someone. But again, my name is Giselle Nance, and I'm here to express my unwavering support for all you ladies and everyone in City Council. Especially, of course, the women that were subjected last time with derogatory comments and remarks. When I was sitting back there, I heard a lot of the threats of certain members in the audience, and it was very unacceptable for anyone to use foul language and some derogatory mannerisms towards anyone, actually, let alone those who have been elected to represent our community. Once again, I would like to address some individuals in the audience who I noticed specifically using tactics to intimidate the council members. Your behavior reflects your character as a mother of strong young men and as someone who has family members who have served in the military for over 8 generations. I was deeply saddened by the disgusting behavior here and in many other online platforms. It is important to remember that our future leaders are watching us. Possibly some could be our daughters or granddaughters who in our future could be in office, whether we like it or not, as our democracy dictates, and we will have to respect it as our Constitution dictates it. It is imperative that we show them the respect they deserve, or as we've forgotten how we came into this, how we came into this world. We came from a woman. Some of the individuals in the audience were retired soldiers with empty gun holsters. I saw that personally, and that was very insulting. And while they may argue that this is the freedom of speech and acted in such a manner and use terms as we the people own you and we pay you to do your job, etc., they forgot, if they are real soldiers, their own oath to the country. Should I remind you it? Because I do remember it at every single graduation I went to for all my sons that served this country. And I remember part of it, and it's to defend the Constitution of the United States and our democracy. This is why I stand here today and ask everyone to use the same negative energy and turn that into a positive towards volunteering and making a positive impact on our community instead of spreading hate and division. We have many issues facing our community, such as homelessness, maybe ranking lately 50 in education. We have a lot of immigration issues near the border, lacking parenting.
Thank you, Giselle. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Anybody else on this side? Seeing nothing, okay, I'll move to my right. First row, second, third. Anybody in third row? Is that staff fourth? Please make your way down if you're, sir, that's you in the gray? Yes, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, Conrad Ottenhoff, I want to thank the city for recognizing the hazards of Elks Road Motor Speedway. Last week, I witnessed 2 of the city employees, one uniformed, installing a speed indicator and display on the northbound lane of Elks Road. I applaud that action, and I would ask that you consider installing a similar unit for the southbound lane, which is equally or more hazardous. Secondly, recognizing the deteriorating traffic situations in Las Cruces and the fact that certain intersections have been redesignated or modified, I would ask that you maintain and improve the signage for those intersections that include single lane turning versus double lane turning and enforce that protocol. I thank you very much, and
thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay, 1, 2. That's fourth, fifth row, 6th row, 7th row, 8th row. Nobody on this side? Going once, twice? Okay, all right. That concludes our public comment. Thank you so much. Okay, we need a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved by Flores.
Second, Bencomo.
Motion made by Councilor Flores, second by Councilor Bencomo. Christine, you're on. Oh, is your light not working?
Yeah, it is now. Thank you. This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Gondeta?
Yes.
And the mayor is absent.
Thank you. Okay, next up is 7.1, resolution number 23-114.
Move to approve.
Second, Graham.
Is that motion made by Councilor Abeyta, second by Councilor Graham? Hello, Jacqueline? Yes? How are
Hello,
you?
yes. Hi, Jacqueline Rubalcaba, Budget and Grant Administrator. I'm presenting a resolution proposing an amendment to the FY23 budget for the state shared gross receipts tax improvement revenue bonds, Series 2023, known as SSGRT bonds, Series 2023. On February 12, 23, City Council approved an Ordinance 3024, which authorized city staff to issue and sell SSGRT bonds Series 2023 in the principal amount not to exceed $12,150,000. These bonds will be payable from 1.225% of distributions from the state shared gross receipts tax. So this budget adjustment is to issue a budget for bond proceeds, debt issuance costs, and expenditures related to the construction, purchase, acquisition, and improvement of roadways and public facility projects. The proposed amendment is as follows for Fund 4028, which is a 2023 SSGRT, $12,916,777 to both revenue and expenditures, and the breakdown is as follows for both revenues and expenditures. For Fund 3028, which is a 2023 SSGRT Debt Service Fund, $2,705 in revenues, and that's for debt service fund premium. The council options are presented above.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. Any questions? Seeing none. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Christine? Whoa, that was fast.
It was.
All right, let's do this.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 23-114. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And the mayor is absent.
Okay, motion passes. Next up, thank you, Rocio. Thank you so much. Next up, 7.2, resolution number 23-115. Need a motion?
Move to approve, Graham. Second, Aveda.
Motion made by Councilor Graham, second by Councilor Abeyta. Hello, Ms. Campoa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm doing well, thank you.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Rocio Gamboa, Senior Budget Analyst, here to present the third quarter budget adjustments. These budget adjustments there are no new programs or policy initiatives. The adjustments are focused on compliance and alignment. These are routine budgetary business best practices. The data presented is summarized, so please refer to your packet for detailed information. Our first budget adjustment in the general fund is for the fire department, an increase in expenses to finish up the radio upgrades for public safety system. Next one is an increase for the finance department of $941,000, and this is an adjustment to
projected state GRT administrative charges to actuals. Parks and Rec Department is getting an increase in expenses of $353,000 for the replacement of the Safe Haven playground. Quality of Life received a insurance claim payment for the Earth and Cosmos mosaic repairs of $54,000, so it's an increase in revenue and expenses. We're doing a transfer from the general fund to the workers' comp of $255,000, and this is to reflect workers' comp actuarial report, and also a transfer from the general fund to the liability claims fund of $1.7 million, also to reflect the actuarial report for the liability claims. In the hold harmless fund, we have an increase in expenses of $100,000, and this is to adjust $100,000 for projected state GRT administrative fees to actuals. We also have a decrease in the finance department in the hold harmless account, which is also goes with the next adjustment of $150,000 for 2 rec patrol vehicles. In finance, we're decreasing $150,000 and we're giving $150,000 to the police department. The special reimbursement grant fund is receiving an increase, needs an increase of $375,000 for contract administration managed by finance. The Public Park Development Fund needs Parks and Recs Department needs an increase of $419,000 in expenses to increase the expenses for Provencio Van Dam improvements. The Airport Fund has a revenue and expense adjustment in the expenses. We're going to increase $9,300 for a carryover for FY22 mower, and an increase in the revenue of $31,000 to adjust airport rescue grant projection to actuals. The Fleet Services Fund is adjusting their budget in revenues. They're decreasing $775,000 and decreasing $1.2 million in expenses, and this is to reduce the projected revenue and expenses for solid waste that was supposed to move over to fleet, but now is being managed by utilities. And now I'll turn it over to Cynthia Campo, CIP analyst.
Thank you, Lucio. Hello.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon, Council and Mayor Pro Tem. Cynthia Campo, CIP analyst. This quarter, we have 3 different types of CIP amendments. We have transfers of appropriation between projects, addition of projects, and adjustments for additional expenses. The first category is transfers, and as you can see, we have transfers from the facility parking lot improvement program of $45,000 that is being moved to the Fleet Electric Vehicle Chargers project. And then the Safety, Health, Environment, and Emergency project, we are decreasing that one by $8,373 to add to the General Facilities Improvement project and the IGA project that had a bit of a rounding issue, so we added $1 there. And the last one is the Del Rey Boulevard Signal Improvement project. We're transferring the $50,000 for the match. Next, we have new projects. In those, we have $163,500 for the communications office suite improvements. We're also adding the LRU runway 826 and 1230 blast pads project. We still haven't received the funds. It's pending on FAA funding, but it's being added as a future project. And then there's the $419,000 for the Provencio Van Dam restrooms. And during the SSGRT bond acceptance, staff introduced the 3 categories of projects. They were broad categories, and in those there was the quality of life projects, active transportation projects, and maintenance projects. And with those in mind, these 4 projects were the ones that were selected for funding using the SSGRT bond. Within those is the roof replacement program projects, Mearshite Recreation Center remodel expansion, East Mesa Recreation Complex, and Complete Streets project. And the last one is adjustments, where there was additional expenses, so we're increasing the budget for those projects, including a field or memorial safe haven, the RTP trail project, parks security and lighting, parks smart controller and pumps, and neighborhood parks. And those are the amendments.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for your respective presentations. I do have questions for your presentation. Page 8, if you could go back to page 8. Can you please explain the $1? Can't even buy maybe 1 stick of gum.
So I believe it was a rounding issue. Yes, so we just need to adjust it to by the $1 so that we can expense everything correctly.
$1 made a difference.
Yes.
And it just balances
Actually,
everything?
I believe it was 6 cents, if I'm correct. but we round up, so it's.
And I would like to say to Ms. Demouche, and you wonder why I don't understand these lines sometimes. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I understand clearly now, yeah. Page 9, please. On the LRU runways 826 and 1230, the blast, there's 0 allocation. So why is it there?
Yes, I'm adding it as a future project. The grant has been submitted and FAA will be funding it. So.
Yes, you did say that FAA, and yeah, they will be funding it, but you have no idea the amount. And so if you don't have the amount yet, why would this be presented to us?
Typically, I would have brought it in with the grant acceptance, but I ended up adding it as a new project. I do know the amount is somewhere around 130,000, somewhere around there.
Okay,
but sure. Actually,
but that's
Andy is here.
Andy, hi. So maybe Andy can explain it to me, as if I were a 4-year-old. He's very good at explaining things to me.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Councilor Flores. Good to see you. In this particular case, FAA funds grants a little backward from a lot of other agencies. Typically, other agencies give you the money first, and you have to fit a project into it. In this case, we have identified a project need, and we go through the project and build the scope and go through the bidding process. And then when we're done, we let the FAA know how much the project costs, and then they issue the grant award. So in this case, we're making sure that the project is in the CIP and ready to accept the money once we get that grant. So we're going through the process right now of doing the scope and the design, and we're hopefully going out to bid here very soon. This is just the placeholder when we get the grant issued from FAA.
And somehow that just makes things flow better when the money does come in.
Yes, Madam Chair and Councilor Flores, when the grant comes in, there'll be a budget adjustment, and we'll present that to you all for acceptance, and we'll go build the project.
Okay, so we can accept the zero now because we've got nothing to gain and nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
But it's just a placeholder.
That's correct, yes.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. Hume.
No problem.
Good to see you, Andy.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have one more. On page 10, what was my question? So these amounts here for all those, all these improvements projects, those are the amounts that have been allocated and will be spent on the project specified? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure I'm on the same track. How soon do you think these projects will be completed, or at least, do you have any idea when they'd be started?
Well, I believe they need to be started as soon as possible, but is there one in particular that you have?
Well, all of them. They look absolutely fantastic. And then sometimes I wonder if we have enough money. But, you know, it's just wonderful roof replacement program, but I don't know which roofs we're talking about. Mearshite Recreation Center and the remodeling, that's something we've been kicking around for some time now. And then the East Mesa Recreation Complex, well, they're all bond projects I see, and then complete streets. But we don't have any details as to, well, for example, the roof replacement program and the complete streets, which part of the city, where are these going to be implemented? Where is it going to take place and when?
The roof replacements are for Municourt, Mearshite, and the Railroad Museum. And for complete streets, it is a bucket project that we've created. And if Srijana would like to answer that question further.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilors. Council Flores, the complete streets bucket, if you will, includes University Avenue, Idaho, El Paseo, some of the major corridors that are priorities per City Council policy and our adopted plans. If you recall, during the CIP retreat, we talked about transformative projects, we talked about incremental changes, and so this would be the bucket to fund those major transformative projects, if you will. As far as start time completion, we would be dictated by the SSGRT bond cycle. I believe it's 3 years, and Leanne can clarify that. But the start for specific projects under, say, the roof replacement program or either of those recreation projects would be up to the project management department and the project schedule, if you will. We don't actually have that right now in front of us.
My question then becomes, why don't we have start dates? And you say you have to wait for the department heads or the powers that be. Who are those powers and why don't we have start dates? Because you say that there's a completion dates, it has to be done within the 3 years. But it doesn't say anything about when it has to be started from the time the allocation becomes available. And just, you know, being on, this is my 6th year, I'm not counting, okay, but this is my 6th year on City Council, and we've had all these wonderful things, and then we're wondering, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? And my fear is that if we don't start these projects and these allocations have been made, when we make future requests for CIP, they'll say, well, you didn't even use up, not that, well, I don't know if they, anyway, but that's a concern I have. So, but you're saying that it's actually up to the departments that would be doing this work? So I should ask Mr. Peely. Well, you don't have to answer now, but yes.
Mayor and Councilor,
You know, I'd have to get back to you about specific timelines because they are all different projects, but if you'd like me to, like that answer now, or, you know, before the end of the meeting, before my
Well,
report.
I don't want to put anybody on the spot. That is not my intent, especially you, Mr. Peely. But, and you, Srijana, and you. It's just questions that I have, and I think that some of the questions I have might also be the questions our constituents, our residents have in terms of completion, you know, and this is a lot of money. I mean, 7, 8, 10, I mean, 9, 11, 13 million, over 13 million, almost $14 million. And I just don't, you know, I just don't want things to just sit there. And so I just hope that, I'll meet with Mr. Peely and then he can explain it to me. And thank you so much, Srijana. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Amen.
Yvonne, you want to say something?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor, thank you, Mayor and Council Flores. One thing just to clarify with the way we're presenting this is what, you know, this is we're bringing forth budget amendments as well as CIP, and a lot of times those are done separate. Just with the city, we've done it together because they're connected. And so we have specific budget amendments that we bring forward that are real projects that need adjustments within this fiscal year. When we have the CIP attached, some of these are actually bringing new projects to your attention. And so, for example, you have complete streets, and so we have new pots that we're forming in our CIP that haven't been there before. And so, to be honest, some of them don't have timelines right now. Some of them don't even have projects. But we do have a pot now that where now that it's on there, we can plan for it, we can go out for grants, we can create timelines, and so that when we do our budgeting, we can have these, you know, front of mind. But like I would have to go through specifically on all of these, because some do fit that category where they're just pots. It's a brand new pot that we're putting into our capital projects fund. I mean, there are identified projects there, but they are new, and that's what's being presented. But then there are some where we actually do have projects with the timeline, and so I can go through from each one of the departments that have responsibility over them and get you some dates and times. But
So if I may, Mr. Peely, when you say dates and times, that will come from the respective department heads?
yeah, I'd have to go through each one of these, because even within the pots, that's not just one project, right? For example, Complete Streets, we're in the process of planning for that, right? We're in the process of identifying projects that'll fit the criteria that we're putting in place for our CIP. And so there's a list, as opposed to, for example, the East Mesa Recreation Complex, where we know that's a project that's active, that has some definitive, you know, end dates or completion dates to them. And so not much of an answer here, but just kind of explaining why it may be, it's a good question, just maybe why it may be a little confusing as we present it this way. Because we're combining it with a budget amendment. Maybe we'll reconsider how we propose that in the future.
Okay. I think that, oh, you're welcome. I think it would be very helpful in terms of seeing how we're progressing. So thank you, Mr. Peely, and thank you. Thank you again, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Leanne.
Councilor Bencomo?
Thank you. I just had a question on page 6, probably for Dominique, actually, just in terms of the fleet service and the change, solid waste. Can you remind me if that is something we have discussed before? That could be you as well, actually. I guess it doesn't have to be Dominique.
I'm not sure if it's been Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor Bencomo. I'm not sure if it's been discussed here in council, but it was something that happened in the budgetary process in FY23 that we were going to bring in the fleet solid waste over to the fleet services of solid waste, but then things changed and they ended up staying in utilities, so we have to amend the budget.
Okay, and for utilities, is this was Like, what happened with the change?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Councilor Bencomo. My name is Dominique Rodriguez, Deputy Director for Business Services with Utilities. This we did take out of the budget. We actually brought it back at first period to move it back into our budget. This is going really well. Staff is utilizing the fleet services. I think the turnaround time for vehicles is a couple of days, unless it's a larger that we contract out, but we have utilized the new funding and they're getting everything situated for it, and it is successful.
Okay, so it wasn't disruptive to service. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Dominique. That's my only question.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. I do have several questions. Slide 5 on the replacement 2 rec patrol vehicles. Like what year are they? How many miles? What does that look like? Do they get sold on, I'm not sure, do we fix them and then sell them? But I'm kind of interested in that. And also, how were they wrecked, kind of thing.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm not sure, I don't know the details of what happened to the vehicles. I just know that it was 2 vehicles that were not our fault. So there is going to be an insurance claim reimbursement check in the future. But for now, to replace them, we are giving them $150 to buy 2 new ones.
And what would be the reimbursement from the insurance, do you think? Do we have that?
I don't, I'm not sure.
Okay, I wonder if Chief has some more information on that.
Mayor Pro Tem, first, the vehicles were crashed. One was at Alameda and Picacho. The officer was rear-ended, deeming the vehicle totaled. Another officer was pulling out of the Chick-fil-A off of Loman, was T-boned, and that vehicle was totaled as well. They're both 2016 vehicles. As far as they will eventually be auctioned. I'm not sure how much we'll be getting for them, but the replacement cost for each is $75,000.
$75,000 for each of those? Okay, thank you for that. That's very helpful. And then, gosh, I don't know, where's Provencio Van Dam? Where have I been? Help me.
That's a park next to.
Oh,
It's
I
a
didn't know
soccer.
that. I kind of suspected, but okay, very good, thank you. And then slide 8, Del Rey Boulevard, and the traffic signal improvement. I'm looking for, would that help with the congestion that the lady, Miss English, spoke earlier about, related to the congestion and the backing up of vehicles? No.
She was talking about Mesa Grande.
Mine's further up.
It's
Well, everything helps, huh, Tony?
Correct. Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem. Tony Torino for the record. No, this is a different intersection. This was part of the MAP grant that we got from NMDOT to improve that intersection. However, I'm currently talking with Sue, our traffic management, to kind of research our latest TIA for that interchange on Mesa Grande, what the lady referred to. So we're looking into that right now also.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Tony.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that so much. And then, let's see. The roof replacement on slide 10, you made mention of those, but I was wondering, we've been waiting for the WIA building's roof to be replaced, and I knew we had some money aside, but that hasn't quite happened, and so obviously it's not on the list. So I'm just putting it out there that we need to jockey into, I guess I have to jockey into position to make sure that that replacement happens, because we promised a lot of people. It's going to happen? Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, David Cedillo, Public Works Director. Just to answer your question, a purchase order has been issued for that work.
See, ask and you shall receive. Very good. Thank you. I know we've been working on it for some time, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. For the roof replacement on WIA. And then I would like to, Councilor Flores, thank you for asking that question. I thought it very helpful related to the complete streets portion and which streets. I know we're talking about buckets, level 1, 2, I think, and 3. Is that? Trying to remember our budget retreat, but it would be helpful in the future to have what those are in the streets and sort of why we picked them. Just a little more detail would be helpful to me. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments about members of the public? Okay, seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 23-115. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Corran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes.
Councilor Gondeta?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Okay, so next we go to board appointments. Looks like to the Planning and Zoning Commission, Connor Murray, District 6 appointment. And to the Senior Programs Advisory Board, Mona Chavita Badale, District 2 reappointment. And let's see here. Next, we're going to go to notice of proposed ordinances. There'll be no public discussion. The councilor may ask staff for a clarification on the proposed ordinance. 9.1, Council Bill number 23-024.
Sorry, go ahead.
Bring it forward.
No, Mayor, I'm going to request that we, given light of the comments that we heard today, if we could wait until May 1st to bring it forward, please. Further. Yeah, till May 1st to bring
Till
it
May
forward.
1st.
Can I request something?
Oh, what's that?
Well, I think part of it was procedural process about being able to list the petition and everything by record, and I was still a little confused.
They'll have time to add that into the record by May 1st so that it can get posted properly.
Well, I want to
within
make
the
sure that
next
that's
day.
what's going to happen, because I feel it's not something that is done, something that's done by our clerk.
Christine, you were going to say something?
Mayor, I was just going to say that Councilor Abeyta doesn't want to bring it forward so that right now as it is, but to bring it back for first read, again, on May 1st. We'll have the title slightly tweaked because it will be a new ordinance. All the necessary attachments will be in there because I do have them. So the packet will be correct for May 1st, for first read.
Mayor Pro Tem, is that satisfactory?
It does. It is. Thank you.
Councilor Abeyta? Councilor Graham?
Second.
Oh,
Oh, I don't need a second? I retract my second.
Okay. Okay, so that's good, and I think that's pretty much it. Now we'll go to member board reports. Sorry I'm late. I was at the university for the AACSB accreditation. So New Mexico State is one of only 5 or 6% of the business colleges that are accredited at that high level. And so we were there to meet with some of the evaluators and just kind of share with them the relationship with the university and the city, as well as some other things that they asked. So again, I appreciate Mayor Pro Tem running the meeting, and looks like City Hall's still up and running, and Ifo still has his job, so I guess we're good. We're good. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to start with board reports, and we canceled our Public Safety Select Committee meeting given the visit, I think it was, for Secretary Buttigieg, and that was, I thought, a great visit. He's phenomenal and had some great things to say about infrastructure and transportation, and I was appreciative of his commentary. The Health Policy Review Committee, we're rocking and rolling in there, and I appreciate Councilor Flores and Councilor Corran. We had a presentation by Joe Provencio for the Occupational Health Survey that we've been working on for some time. Appreciative that the work that has been done to bring it forward. thank you, Mr. Peely, for really embracing this. I think it's important. I want to say that if it hasn't been distributed to staff, it's going to be. And I'm very excited about hearing what the next steps are going to be. There's some incentives to fill out the survey. And then, Mr. Peely, I wanted to, in hopes that we would be able to work on, as you know, we brought Erica Sorova in to have conversation from New Mexico State University, and I wanted to see if that could continue. She helps her to put together the survey, but I was interested in the analysis component and not it being left on the shoulders of staff to do as an extra burden. And so my hope is, a recommendation is to ask for Erica Sorova to continue with that project. Next, I wanted to just get an update on the ARPA funding and where we're at. I think that's been important. I've been being asked for some of that, and I'm not sure quite what to say to folks. So if you could help us, Mr. Peely, with that, that would be great. Earlier in the month, I made mention of my deep concern about the detention facility and the removal of books and the lack of quality care or expeditious care for our detainees, and I wanted to get a report on that as well. And then I'll wait on that report, I guess. And then I want to share. I got a very concerning phone call last night from my father. My mother, I think I've said this at least to council, that my mom has been diagnosed with dementia, and no sibling or daughter or child wants to hear that her mother has left at midnight and concerned about trying to get her back home. And so it was a really scary time to be 2 hours away and trying to help facilitate the location of my mom and trying to persuade her to be back home was really difficult for all of us. And so I know I'm not the only one that has these sorts of issues in homes. In fact, I think because of our aging population, we're going to experience more of those silver alerts. And I've asked over time, and I'm sorry that I don't see Carol here, to have a presentation from Senior Services specific to what we're doing to prepare for our aging population, how we're interfacing and intervening when we have situations like this, because I know I'm not the only person or family that's experiencing this, and quite frankly, I'm not sure that we're ready for these sorts of things to happen. And so I wanted to put a little bit, I just wanted to be a little vulnerable with the public and with all of you on the dais. No one should have to deal with this. It's been really, really difficult for our family, and I know we're going to have to make some very tough decisions in the months to come. But I as much as we can, I want to be prepared for our public, right, for our seniors and our families to be as prepared as we can. I know that the folks are working really hard. There have been some presentations about Alzheimer's and dementia, and I've so appreciated that. But I really want to have a more systematic way that we look at that and understanding what Senior Services is looking at forecasting and what they might need to make sure that we're taking care of our seniors so they age in place. And I think, the mural. And a lighter note, the mural. I was happy to do the ribbon cutting of the mural our visitor center. I want to encourage everybody to go and visit. It's beautiful, and it really depicts Las Cruces. And the name of it is Con Amor, and I think it is all that and then some. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry to hear about your mom. I was going to share with you something in private about how we would handle it with my dad and then now mom. I'm more than happy to do it in private, but then I can also do it publicly for those who might be listening and see if that might be helpful.
Happy for you to say it
Sure.
publicly,
So,
Mayor.
yeah, no, I know exactly. My father, years ago, he thought he had some place to go. It was really late at night. And, yeah, he fell hurt really bad. And fortunately, there was a LCPD officer in the neighborhood, and my mom went out. She just went out looking for help, and there was happened to be an officer there, and thank goodness for him. But so we have since learned a couple things. We use this Nest. It's those Nests right now to keep. There's certain cameras to watch my mom. There's also these alarms that when they're asleep, but once they're down and once they get up, that alarm goes off, right? And so that's yet another thing. And then putting a double deadbolt locks. Now, sometimes that's hard because if there's a fire, but we have a 24-hour person in there, but that way there, they can't just take off. So those three things really helped. I just wanted to share that with you. Yeah. Councillor Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, for sharing the firsthand experience of having a parent become almost a child. So anyway, I too was at the unveiling on Friday of the mural, and the artist is actually from Las Cruces. She's from New Mexico, of course. She's from Las Cruces. The beauty of it is that I believe there was a national hunt for that. There was it's called a call, a national call. There were 65 respondents, and her name escapes me, I'm so sorry, but it was absolutely wonderful, and she was just, the mural, you really have to see it, and you really get the feeling, this is New Mexico, this is Las Cruces. And there's a little farmer on there. I think there's a little donkey and a little farmer, and I was thinking that it reminded me of my grandfather. And then I said, I love that, the farmer and the donkey. And she said, oh, that's my grandfather. Oh. You know, and it was just, there was that connection. And, but it's truly, truly beautiful. So you can't miss it if you're just going down Main Street. You'll see it. So apropos of that, there's the City Arts Board. So the mural, most artwork that is public comes through our City Art Board. And, but that did not. That was specifically funded by another source. But the City Art Board is in the process of retaining an artist. And I don't want to jinx it, but you have to know the name. It's Diego Medina. And his family is native to the Klein Park area where the Tiwa and the other people of indigenous origin live for, I think, forever. And there was a robust discussion about the funding. We had people from the Arts Council District there who I think they believed, and I have to clarify it, that it was coming out of, that the money that was being paid and to the artist for his work and materials was coming from the ACD, but it's not. It's coming from Parks and Rec, I believe. Kathy Matthews was there. I don't know if that's correct, but it's not coming from the ACD. I know that much. And I know I'll be talking to Mr. Peely about the ACD money that did come through some years ago, CIP money. I think it was in 2018. Maybe Mayor Pro Tem knows about that money, but apparently the members from the Arts Council District were at a loss as to what had happened to that money, and I don't understand. But I just wanted to share that in terms of the input our community has, and it's actually quite wonderful. I know that or presume that Councilor Bencomo will elaborate on U.S. Senator Heinrich's visit to Las Cruces and specifically to City Hall, and she'll give you all the details. As far as the Animal Service Center of Mesilla Valley goes, we had a budget that had to be revisited, and we actually met on Good Friday, and that's how important it was. And all the board members showed up, and there had to be some adjustments right away, and there's still some questions. That's the way budgets go. So as far as the economic development, PRC, we meet regularly. Things are always presented. They're absolutely wonderful. We have a new member, not a member to the PRC, it's just the two councilors, Councilor Tessa Abeta and Mayor Pro Tem Gandara and I. But we have a lot of people from the community, and it's absolutely wonderful. The newest community member is Julia Brown, who's actually with the State Economic Development Office, which is wonderful. And lastly, but certainly what's really on the forefront of my mind is to call for a special meeting. I looked at the section that Councilor Abeta referred to. When she and Councilor Bencomo became councilors, I met with them and told them that the city charter was going to be our Bible, so to speak. It's going to be the reference for anything and everything that we do, and so far as the legality of meetings, this, that, and the other. And I'd like to say that Ms. Councilor Abeta has been very good about reading that charter, So according to that charter, 4 of us can call for a special meeting. And I hereby, at this time, would like to know, and if there are 3 other members on this city council who would call for it. According to our public comments, what I am saying right now is permissible. I have not spoken to any other councilor about this except Mayor Pro Tem Gandara. So I have not violated the OMA, and this is the only place I can say it. So at this point, I would like to ask the city clerk as to how to proceed from here. I have also spoken to Mr. Peely about this, and the city clerk said it would be appropriate to bring it up, but now how do we determine whether we have 4 councilors that would want to have the police oversight work session? Thank you. That's my question to you. I know I'm stuttering and stalling. I just don't want to overstep boundaries or get in anybody's, be inappropriate.
Mayor, Councilor Flores, you could all comment during your public comments today so we could get consensus, or you can discuss it with the city manager and he will get with me to schedule that meeting.
Councilor Flores, if I may, I had mentioned to Dr. Neeson that, and I see that they got me this information. This, I think, is going to be good to give to the city attorney so that they can, I think there's some questions in here that need to be addressed before. But as I mentioned to Dr. Neeson, just get me that information because they were talking about a hybrid model. I still haven't received that. I wanted to at least take a look at that and then present it to our public safety board and then move forward. I mean, we're just looking for procedure. I don't think it's fair to jump around and go directly. Yes, there's residents that want to go directly to a work session. Does that mean that anytime residents come here and just says, hey, you know what, bypass the PRC, bypass the other committees, we want this like right now? Well, I know that that's not the case, Counselor, but, Dr. Neeson comes here every council meeting, and that's fine, I understand that. But, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's procedures. Give me this information. I want to be able to get it to the city attorney, because what happens if during a work session, the city attorney says, you know what, I don't think we can do that. I need to research this. I need to find out, is this something that we can do? And so that's all I'm asking.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, but I think you misunderstood me. I'm asking for a special meeting, and it is within the province of our charter to call for a special meeting. I don't disagree with you that the questions that you posed to Mr. Neeson a couple of weeks ago about how much it would cost and, if there's a budget for it, and those questions are definitely important and germane to setting up such an organization. But for purposes of bringing it to the public, I believe it's utterly important to not go to the bureau of the bureau of the bureau, and it just becomes, just like a dog chasing its tail. So just in terms of respect for the many, many residents in our city who are part of this, we have the NAACP, we have, as one organization, I believe, I don't know if they've taken a position, but the League of Women Voters, I know, is very interested in this. There are veritable, respectable organizations that feel that there has to be need for a dialogue. I'm not proposing anything other than a special meeting, not necessarily a work session. And yes, I agree with you, it'd be good to know how much this would actually cost. What would it take? And the other information, Dr. Neeson, that would be very, very helpful would be, you mentioned Boulder today, and then there's Anaheim. But I look at Boulder, I look at Anaheim, I'm familiar with Anaheim, California. They're so different than Las Cruces. And maybe they're not, but just to compare other oversight boards that other cities have, find out how they're set up, how they're financed, how they work with city government, because the Anaheim, the information I got online is that the board is extensive and has men, women, different races. It's wonderful, but there's nothing there about how it interacts with city government, either through the city manager's office or through city council or with the police department directly. And it's just a question of just having that feeling, Mr. Mayor, that we are open to hearing from concerned residents and to shed light on certain behaviors that I think we can all learn from. And that's all. I think having a special meeting, I don't know when it would be called. I don't know if it would be in lieu of a scheduled work session. That I don't know. I do know that if 4 people agree to a special meeting, that special meeting will be held. And then for those who do not agree to it, they have to be given a certain amount of hours, I think 72 hours notice of the meeting. It's totally, or less, I think. But anyway, I don't have the statute, the ordinance right in front of me, or that charter section.
Tessa has 4.
Huh?
Tessa has 4 copies.
Oh, Tessa has 4 copies, so. But anyway, if we could have 4 counselors somehow agree right now, that would be great. And then we can move forward. And I think also we'd be showing an earnest and heartfelt respect for those who have worked so hard on this. And that's my piece. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, Councilor, what I'll do is, obviously you're supportive of it, so that's good. And then maybe Councilor Corinne, as she does her comments, if she wishes to talk about her comments, and if she wants to move forward with a special meeting, I would suggest it be a special work session, and that would be a good way to do it informally. So, Councillor Corinne, you're next for comments and your wishes.
Councillor Beta, did you want to say something? Oh, sorry. No, I just thought you had your thing on before.
I was ready to reference if need be for hours notice. It's a 12-hour notice that all members have to have for a special meeting.
Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I didn't mean to call you out. I thought you wanted to say something. Thank you. I would also ask for a work session, as I did last week as well. I would ask that work session include both the option of a police oversight and other local organizations that are working and requesting police reform related activities. I believe that we can muster a group of folks who would be able to present professionally and take our local situation into context, including the folks who have been working on it, as Councillor Flores mentioned. So I also would ask for that work session to occur. On to other board-related notes. Really quickly, the TSI PRC, I want to give a special thanks to El Paso Electric and Jenny Gonzalez in the Sustainability Office, who presented on a whole bunch of really cool potential ways for us to get rebates from El Paso Electric, the federal government, the state government, although that seems more complicated. And I know that the Sustainability Office is working on a really cool thing to help show everyone where they fit into that scheme and which rebates they're eligible for. In addition, they're also working on a policy that will make sure that when we do things, when we purchase things through the city, and it's really interesting, when I took a tour of the Animal Services Center, the director showed me a refrigerator that he had just purchased because they needed one for their break room. And I thought, oh, and then we saw this really interesting incentive conversation, and I thought how cool that our sustainability office is going to connect the city to make sure that when we purchase things, I think we can maximize the benefits from all of the federal energy efficiency sort of pots of money, as well as the state and El Paso Electric. They also let us know that there is a recycling program for refrigerators in particular that gives money back. And so that's on the El Paso Electric webpage, which I think is interesting, and probably a lot of people could find that useful. So we also met with the MPO. I just wanted to mention this. I don't know if we've ever mentioned the MPO that the three of us are represented on before, but we met last week to do an initial, not final, ranking of projects to go to the New Mexico Department of Transportation. The city of Las Cruces submitted one project to that, which is planning for the area that Srijana mentioned a little bit earlier, sort of in the Idaho, El Paseo, Maine kind of area, planning for pedestrian-friendly facilities in that area. We as a board, the MPO, which includes county and other electeds from our region, ranked first the Mesilla Lateral, very tiny project related to a bike trail there first, and then our city project second. So I believe that it's high on the priority, and I'm hopeful that we can keep that ranked high and request to the Department of Transportation that we plan that out and find some opportunities to make it more pedestrian friendly. So it was an exciting MPO meeting, so first time ever talking about that. Or at least it was something interesting to report. They thought we were going to get into fights, but we didn't. Christine was there to referee. Other things that are happening, the Health PRC, I also want to echo that it's exciting to hear about the occupational employee health survey. I know that you all have invested and city management has invested a lot in the employees of the city of Las Cruces, in particular, increasing wages, hopefully creating better benefit situations. I'm hopeful that this in particular, the survey can sort of open up a new path of building a healthier workplace, making sure that people are able to achieve sort of work-life balance and all of the things that go into it. So I look forward to the results of that, and I hope that we can see some investments in City of Las Cruces staff health in the upcoming year. as a result of that. The last thing, Transit Advisory Board, we will meet on Thursday afternoon, but there is one really important thing happening right now. It's the Connect NM study, which is looking at local transit opportunities. It's done by the State Department of Transit, and it looks at ways to prioritize different funding and planning processes within the transit structure of New Mexico, and then that does trickle down to our local Roadrunner Transit. So anyone can access this at the connectnmstudy.com and give inputs to how they use local transit and what they would like to see in their local transit. And I think it would be really helpful if folks would contribute to that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Bencomo?
Thanks, Mayor. As I said 2 weeks ago, I would also like to see a work session on police accountability and oversight and use of force policies. Make it a little bit broader than just this one particular ordinance. Something I often teach people about our form of government is that we have a council manager form of government, meaning that our mayor is another vote on the council. There is certain things, privileges that the mayor gets to have. One of them is set the agenda, and I always say he gets to set the agenda unless 4 of us on the council desire to have something on the agenda, and then it must go on the agenda. And so I appreciate your commitment to procedure. I just have to say that there is procedure in our charter that states that if 4 members of this council want something on the agenda, then you have to put it on the agenda. And 2 weeks ago, 4 people of this on this dais said that they wanted that. I think, Mayor, I think it's somewhat disingenuous to say, oh, well, it should go to the Public Safety Committee, when I fear that you want it to go to the Public Safety Committee because there your position would be in the majority, and right now it's in the minority. And so I think it's important that you listen to the 4 people on this council that are saying we want to see a work session on this, and not try to fight us on whether it should go to a PRC or not, when that is not in fact written in stone. And so that is my piece on that. I did want to thank several people because I had a very successful district meeting last week, 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, and I think Sydney counted about 45 people came, and we had great presentations, and I just want to thank Parks. I want to thank Executive Director, it says ED. I want to thank Economic Development, Chris and Elizabeth, Barbara, Ceci, Fire Chief Smith, Public Works Director David, Officers Roach and Klimek for coming and supporting District 4 meeting and answering questions for the constituents. I especially want to thank, of course, Katrina and Sydney for helping me organize, get turnout, and all the presentations there. So thank you very much. And of course, a huge shout out to MacArthur Elementary School. That was I had been wanting to have a community meeting there since I got elected, which I had one planned in April of 2020, and we all know how that went. So I just really wanted to give thanks to everyone who came and to all the staff who participated. I'm really, really grateful. I know those are long days for you. I also want to address the Burn Lake situation and want to just be very transparent and honest and say that I had nothing to do with that decision. You do not need to thank me because, in fact, you're not going to like this, but I would have handled that completely different. And I'm going to say this knowing that the conservatives in action are going to take what I say out of context and hear what they want to hear. But I really believe that, folks like Mr. Huff and Ms. Huff and all the folks who live along Burn Lake, people have a right to be frustrated. People have a right to be upset and to be fearful. Like, that's okay. People fear things all the time, especially uncertain things you don't know. Particularly people who are unhoused. That is a right that they have. When someone comes here and, says all those things to us, the city, our job is not to be reactive. Our job is not to choose between it's not to take sides between housed residents and unhoused residents. All of us are deserving of safety, including people who are unhoused, believe it or not. And I believe it is a false choice to say that the safety of one group must come at the expense of another group. That is not our job as a city. Our job as a city is to find short-term solutions, long-term solutions that work for everybody. I hear what people are saying. I don't ever want to be dismissive of people's concerns. I hear them. I think they're incredibly valid. But forcefully evacuating people out of a public park, that's not a solution. I think we could have done 3 things. We could have worked with Community of Hope to continue to do outreach to that encampment. We could have worked with fire and PD to bring fire safety to that group of people and say, look, that there is danger to what you're doing. We want to provide you resources and the things that you need through Community of Hope. We could have consistently brought in mano y mano to make sure that the area was clean. And we could have talked with city management and Community of Hope about the fencing and security concerns. You don't want to see homeless people? Okay, you don't have to see them. I understand there is a clear safety concern, let's address it. But we just kicked the solution down to another neighborhood. Because this group of folks was at EBID. EBID said kick them out, so they got kicked out. They were at another park. They got moved from that park. I just very clearly want to say that I was not part of that decision, and that's not how I would have handled it if I would have been consulted. I think it's important that Community of Hope was consulted. And I just want to reject that because I think it's a false choice. And I think we can do better as a city. And lastly, I'll just say that the meeting with Senator Heinrich last week with our housing committee went really well. I think Mayor Pro Tem was there, Councilor Flores was there, Natalie Green, of course, and her staff helped organize it. Senator Heinrich and his staff was there. We had members of the Housing Builders Association, which I thought was great, that we engage in conversations about solutions. And I'm excited to work with Senator Heinrich's staff to bring more congressionally directed spending for, to fill in gaps regarding this clearly housing crisis that we are experiencing. And we just have to work together to find solutions because there is no magic sauce. I know we want there to be this magic solution. There isn't, because we're dealing with people, with human beings, and complex issues, not to be cheesy, but complex issues require complex solutions. And that's sort of where we're at. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Graham?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So yes, if this wasn't settled from a couple of weeks ago, I'm willing to call out for the work session that's being proposed based on the ordinance and all the discussion. What I want to leave that session understanding very clearly is how the proposed oversight board is functioning with the current public safety oversight and with the city's contract with OIR and the oversight and responsibilities that group has. So that is the primary question that I have. What gaps does this oversight board feel it would be filling in the larger constellation of oversight and accountability that we are already considering? I don't have any further comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Beta?
Thank you, Mayor. A few updates with our utilities board. We met last week. We talked about the CIP approval within the department. There have been a few changes with some personnel that they are working on, and we will be having 2 board vacancies in July. There have been some requests for individuals that wish to continue, but just to let the public know that if they wish to sit on the utilities board, that there'll be those 2 vacancies coming up. This upcoming week, we will have an oversight committee meeting. We'll be looking at litigation, hotline complaints, an audit plan update, and a final draft of complaint 192. We will also have a meeting on Wednesday for the Juvenile Justice Continuum and with Mavita. I want to say thank you as well. I had a District 2 meeting 2 weeks ago as well, so thank you, Katrina. We had quite a lot of staff personnel, so I know I am missing every single name, but I'm so sorry. Thank you to Katerina, David Cedillo, Barbara, Robert Nunez, Lieutenant Joy Wiedela, and our new community resource officer, to Leanne Demosh, who talked about budget, which was actually really helpful for our community, and to get them to start engaging as well. And we talked about numerous codes, so it was wonderful. One of the items that came up from a community meeting that I had 2 meetings back is a new neighborhood watch group within our Tony Gomez Farney area right next to the high school. They are very strong, and they had a meeting on Saturday, which I attended as well. It was the lightest meeting that I've ever been to, and they had about 32 people, so they are quite active. So I gave a little bit of a similar update that I did during the district meeting to this group. One item that they have looked and requested, they were very interested in Project Light and how that might help within their community. And then I have 2 quick asks as well to consider. One of them would to be on a work session of just getting a legislative recap from Larry, just to see how everything panned out. Obviously, we had a few really big wins, I think, this year, and to talk about the funding and strategies moving forward. And the second, I have met with a couple business owners now that have experienced issues with crime and break-ins. And from the different conversations, one item has seemed to pop up that would be a resource that they feel would be helpful. And I agree, because it's something that we can also give proactively as well. But it's been an idea to have just like a one-pager, and if we already have it, then that's great. But a one-pager that we can give to businesses with a list of service numbers to call and kind of a process, like if something happens, these are your steps, these are what you can do, and these are your resources. And that's something that we can give out to agencies. So like I said, after a few of my meetings, this seems like an item that we could give and just make sure that businesses know what their resources are, what the process is, because some of these entities aren't really familiar with the system. And thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Beta, you reminded me of something I need to give to Christine. I received over the weekend resignation from Mr. Mike Murphy on the Housing Authority, so I'm going to need, we're going to need to advertise for that. I don't even know if they have a quorum now, but I think they're down at least one. Yeah, so this makes 2. So with that,
Can I weigh in on, I too would like to have a work session.
Okay.
Thank you. On the police oversight, yes.
Okay. Now we go to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before I forget, I just want to respond to Councilor Beta. Barbara just texted me and let me know that May 8th is when we scheduled that legislative recap with Larry. And then this is from Visit Las Cruces. Mira Las Cruces is going to be Saturday, April 29th. Visit Las Cruces is debuting a new spring festival called Mira Las Cruces. The free family-friendly festival will highlight the art and culture, cuisine, music, and outdoor recreation that makes the Las Cruces and its southern New Mexico partners a premier destination for travel and tourism. The name invites everyone to look at Las Cruces, It looks in parentheses. The event is from 2 to 10 p.m. on Saturday, April 29th at the Plaza de Las Cruces. Travel writers and influencers will be attending the event and visiting Las Cruces. The main stage entertainment will start with local high school cheer, drum, and dance performances and continue with the Las Cruces Ukes, Mariachi Jalisciense. Is that how you say it? Jalisciense?
Okay, you need the French expert. Let's see.
Let's see.
Attending Ballet Folklórico.
Oh, wow.
Jalisciense, my tierra.
Jalisciense.
Mariachi. Jalisciense. I thought you said Parisiense.
Okay, Jalisciense. And Ballet Folclórico Diamantes de la Valle. Del Valle. Proud Pete NMSU cover band. Dance lessons by Soul Ballroom, Rodeo Norteño, and headliner Frank Ray. Throughout the day, there will be several other activities, including a live mural, Marvel Car Show, chalk art competition, as well as many booths with community partners sharing information about tourism, attraction, and activities. The date is April 29th, this Saturday, April 29th, from 2 to 10 p.m. at the plaza. And then just update on ARPA. It's gone through legal, all ready for signatures, and so as they execute, as they're signed, they'll be executed. It doesn't, as a reminder, it doesn't need to come back to council, and so right after they're signed, we're moving forward. So apparently some have already signed and moving forward. So there's really just signatures from the community partners. It's already been routed through staff.
Mayor, if I could, when's the update? Like, when could we hear from where they're at that point? Because they'll do quarterly reports and such, correct?
You know, I think we'll get with staff to plan that when we come back. We just wanted to get the contracts through so that we can start having them move forward. But I don't know if we've actually scheduled. I'm looking over here. We didn't schedule an ARPA update yet, did we? Please.
Thank you, Ifo. And Mayor Pro Tem and Council, just wanted to remind everybody, we do have an ARPA OpenGov report on the website that updates daily with the budget and expenditures. So when those contracts are completed, as Ifo said, they're going to be going to staff. Once they're in our system, they'll be live on the website so that they can be tracked for each individual organization that has funds allocated to it. We'll have a little summary of what the funds are to be spent on, and then, as you said, as I said, we'll see a numerical tally for what they're spending, but we can also schedule the quarterly updates as well once those contracts are executed. Thanks.
Thank you, Barbara. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so if there's nothing further, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
So moved by Flores.
Motion made by Councilor Abeyta. I need a second.
Second by Flores.
Okay, second by Councilor Flores. That we adjourn. Christine?
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor Abeyta?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores?
Yes. Yes.
Councilor Gondeta?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Okay, it's 3:21 p.m. We are adjourned. Thank you.